Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Stateside Weekly Market Report with Tim Robinson and Bryant Naylor. I'm Tim. Bryant, how are you?
Pretty good, Tim. How about
Good.
yourself? How's
Good, man. They
Maryland?
missed us last week. They missed us last week. Everyone missed us.
Good.
They're like, when are these guys coming back to give us market updates? Because I can't tell what's happening without these guys. So we're back to update you on
Yeah.
what we're seeing. Bryant, we're seeing a lot more craziness. I'm sick of saying craziness, but there's not enough houses.
No, there's
So
not a big house.
there's just not a poor Bryant's over there. He's got like seven buyers looking for houses right now, and there's nothing here. Or if there is, people are especially in Northern Virginia just
Way
going
over asking. Way over.
way
Can't even
over
compete.
asking.
Yeah.
No contingencies. So yeah, I mean, let's talk about the market a little bit. I think we're kind of finding our stride here, and one week we'll talk about what we're seeing in the market. The next week we'll kind of do tips and tricks, and we'll just go back and forth and just try to provide value for people trying to navigate this market, especially for folks. We both have a lot of clients that are PCSing back to the States this summer, kind of looking for houses. So they've been, I have several folks that I've had set up on our program, Real Scout, to look for properties in the area, just get to know the neighborhoods, kind of get to know the price points, check in every now and then on, what we're seeing on the offers and what we can get away with and what we can't. And it varies, it really does. We did a podcast earlier today where I was just kind of going a little bit into the detail of kind of the ugly versus the pretty, right? The houses that need a little work that have sat there for 7 or 8 days, which in normal times is normal, but
Normal.
7 or 8 days in this market is an eternity. So like when you see something that's sitting for a week, you're like, oh, we have some wiggle room there.
Hmm.
Um, so there's that dichotomy, and there's also the dichotomy between primary and investment, right? And we're not going to go too far down the investment rabbit hole, but when people are looking for home, somewhere for their family to come home every night and establish relationships and build a sense of community, that's different than if you're just looking for numbers on an investment. So we have both. So we're looking for kind of that fine line. And what I'm finding interesting is that when I have clients looking in like the 180 to 220 range, for investment properties, we are up against not only investors that know it's a good appreciating market with solid tenant core, we're also looking at primary home buyers. So
Hmm.
it's kind of a double-edged sword right in that range there. So it's an interesting time to navigate. And so like on the podcast, Lisa, my partner, she kind of tested, what's going on in the market. I'm like, that's a really loaded question because it really depends on so many things. I think generally speaking, the backdrop of all this is scarcity, right? There's not enough houses for investors or primary home buyers. And what we're finding is kind of these lines of delineation between ugly and pretty, primary and investment that we can kind of help navigate a little bit. But I think it's all about education and what people go in terms of their mindset. And like some people are like, I want this school district. I want this neighborhood. And we say, absolutely, we can get you that. Here's what it's going to take. We've kind
Exactly.
of touched on that. Like it is, as long as you know what you're in for, there will be multiple offers. This will go, you'll probably have to look at multiple houses before you get it. We can get you one. But like, if you just go in and just say, I like that house, I'll take it. It's crushing, right? Because that's not how it works. Like as long as you know what you're up against, you can kind of prepare yourself. So that was a mouthful, but that's kind of what we're seeing is really just kind of the front loading of information. And I find myself sometimes talking to clients and just as I tend to talk too much, inundating them with information, a lot of which might not necessarily be their case, but I'd rather people go into it eyes wide open, know what they're up against. And then if we get a pleasant surprise and get the first property, it's like awesome, but if you're on the 10th, 11th, 12th, 20th property you bid on, then you're like, okay, Bryant told me this was going to happen. So that's kind of the front loading, I guess, information deluge we're giving people right now.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're doing on this over here too in Northern Virginia, DC, as well. It's yeah, you said it right. Like it's the ugly duckling houses that are sitting for multiple days, and you have a little bit of breathing room with those, or you have the houses that are priced right and are in good condition, are just flying off the market over the weekend for well over asking price. So and that's the conversation I'm having with my clients, saying like, just because the house says it's 500,000, you're most likely going to be going over that to
Yep.
some extent. So just keep that in mind. If we need to be looking, if your max budget is 500,000, we need to be looking at houses probably in the 450 range, because we're probably going to be going up to 500
Right.
in today's market. I have noticed like I feel like the spring market's starting to starting to wake up a little bit, a little late. I've noticed
Good.
an
Yeah.
uptick in the coming soons. Like I was just on Real Scout looking today at some of my clients' search criteria. In the like half of the listings that are coming up in their search are coming soons. It's which is maybe like a quarter of them typically. But I
Yeah.
feel like about half of them now are coming soon. So hopefully that means we're getting some more inventory coming down the line, and we're actually hearing that as well from from our brokerage, again, internal emails saying that it seems like everybody has a lot of listings coming available in June, July this year, which
Yep.
is very not typical. Most of the time,
People usually
most
get them
times,
out earlier. Right.
right? Or most time it's April, May,
Yeah.
and now right now it seems like it's kind of going towards the June, July timeframe. So that'll be interesting. But hopefully that means some more inventory is coming. That's not going to drive prices down by any means. There's still
That's the
not enough
thing.
houses.
Right.
Interest rates are staying high. Tomorrow there is the CPI release, so that's gonna. I'm got my fingers crossed that the inflation rates come in a little lower than we continuing that trend. So,
Yeah.
well, we'll see.
No, I hope so. I mean, the Fed raised the rates another 25 basis points up to 5.25, which is the highest it's been in quite a while. But they did hint at the fact that this might be the last one for a while. I mean,
Yep.
who knows? If CPI comes in where they want it to be, then maybe it'll slow down or pause it at least for one meeting. That'd be great. I think that would just instill a lot of confidence if they just paused it and didn't do any rate hike for just once. If they feel the need to raise it another 25 basis points after the next meeting, so be it. But like at least a little pause would just restore some consumer confidence and just um yeah, it's weird, man, because like the rates keep going up, but so do the prices and so does the demand. It's not so they can keep raising them, but it appears to not be having the effect they want it to because of the scarcity issue.
And
So
that's
you
in
can
our
raise
market
up,
too. Like
yeah, in our
nationwide,
market,
right?
right,
Yeah, nationwide, it's having a different effect everywhere. But
right,
like here, it's not doing anything. Well, like you said, prices are still going up. Multiple offers. It's like interest rates are 3.5% again.
right. It's remarkable, actually. Like it's almost. I mean, the old adage, money's not an issue. It's an issue for everybody. I don't care who says that, but like it's not showing. Like
No,
it's not like we as but when we're working with our buyers, we're kind of hoping, okay, maybe this will be the one where we can kind of get in there and but like it's not doing anything to the prices because of the lack of inventory. So it remains to be seen how this all plays out. But like in the meantime, it's just all about education and just what you're seeing. And that's why we do these, so that when people say, I just the last thing I want is for people to think, all right, we PCS next month. And PCS, for those of you that aren't in the foreign service, permanent change of station, people moving back from overseas back to DC for a domestic assignment or home leave or what have you. I just don't want folks to think that they can just kind of start looking at houses and then get one. Like let's start early. Let's get all our ducks in a row. We're probably gonna have to take a few swings before we get it. So I have a couple folks that aren't moving back until next summer that I'm already talking to. That's way in advance, but like, why not? Especially if you don't know the area, if you're not familiar with it, let's explore some neighborhoods. Let's see some houses, and let's just start to get a feel of price points. They're gonna be different next summer, but let's start to get a feel before it's crunch time, I guess. So
yeah, and that's
I don't know what
important.
to do.
I think it's important to start that early because it's just you're either gonna have a quick learning curve, or that if you come in and you want to buy a house in 3 months, you're gonna have a very quick learning curve. Getting kind of up to back, getting the first couple swings out of the way, and getting warmed up to the market. Or you start early, and as soon as a property, you see the property showing up in your inbox week after week after week. By the time you're ready to buy, you're going to be able to look at a property and instantly know if that's a good deal in a neighborhood you want, and if that's something you want to pursue. It's not going to be guesswork, asking a bunch of questions, being a little unsure of what you want to do. So I'm 100% there with them. That's like you start early, get an understanding of the market. You're going to be in good shape come next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. No, I think so that's the moral of today's story is start early if you can. If you can't, then we'll give you as much information as we can and we'll find you a house. I guess just know that what you're up against and, be willing to look at the ugly duckling. We can't say that enough. I think, I was having a conversation with someone the other day and I'm making stuff up, but I'm just thinking maybe during COVID when everyone's doing the Zillow swiping and looking at the prettiest thing, that might have ruined some stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just theorizing here and trying to pull, conclusions where there might not be. But maybe all that Zillow scrolling, everyone started to see the prettiest thing, and when you got this ugly duckling, everyone's like, nope, it's not ready. But yes, it is. Throw a coat of paint on that. Put in some hardwood. Like and don't go up against 20 other people.
Exactly.
It's worth it. It's worth it as a primary or an investment. Like it is worth it. I will say unequivocally, if you get it in the right place, it is worth it.
Yeah, and in those cases, you might be able to get a seller credit back, or
Yep,
you can pay a little bit more and ask for that seller credit back at the table and put that money directly into the property for those
exactly.
hardwood floors or that paint job or new appliances or whatever it needs to make it look nicer than it looked at the time. So
Yeah. No, I think so. One more thing, and then we're getting too. I forgot to set the timer, Brian. We're trying to do the 8 minute thing, and I forgot to set the timer. That's my bad. I hope people are still listening. Thank you for tuning in. Smash that subscribe. Follow us on the Twittergram and get our emails. One more thing. I think people have in their head stuff's more expensive than it is. And what I mean by that is, they see an ugly old white oven and they're like, oh, that's gonna be $3,000. That thing's $450.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Like all new appliances I'm doing my kitchen right now. If you hear any banging, that's my personal kitchen. A whole new set of appliances, 3 to 4 grand. If you're not getting the smart fridge that buys milk for you when you need it, who need it? Ridiculous. Anyways, but like, don't be scared of a little work, because it's very, I won't say rarely as much as you expect it to be, but I think you get these horror stories of everything costing so much. And if you really just crunch the numbers and you're like, all right, I can pay 40 grand over asking for this house that is shiny and new, or I can pay 15 grand under asking or even asking price and spend 15, $20,000 and it looks brand new. I mean, the numbers don't lie, like just calculate that, we'll help you calculate that. It's not a
That's what I was
guessing
going to
game.
say too. Just in terms of just calculating it, it's something we can help you with. We have contractors we can reach out to. We send photos to, be like, hey, how much would this be for? This is a 15 by 15 kitchen. It's going to need new floors and cabinetry and whatever else, and give us an estimate on what that's going to be. And we can work with you on that. So
Yeah, no, that's it. Run some numbers. We can help you calculate. So, moral of the story is more information is better. Run some numbers. Put your kid down when he's unhappy, and so if you can hear my son in the background, she said, "We're real life folks. We just record." But call us. We'll help you run some numbers. See if it's worth paying $60,000 over asking, or looking at an ugly duckling and paying a little bit less and doing the work yourself. I mean, not even doing it yourself. Have a contractor do it, and it's still
right.
less than paying all that money over asking.
Yeah, do it while you're
Um,
overseas and have it moving ready when you're moving back here.
that's it.
That easy.
That's it. So let's wrap it there, Bryant. What do you think?
All right, that works.
He needs a nap.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll join him. I don't
yeah.
know. I got stuff to do. Thanks for
Yes.
tuning in for another episode of Stateside Weekly Market Report with Bryant Naylor and Tim Robinson. Please subscribe, so you can catch new episodes. We missed one, but we're on track, and we send out emails every week to give you market update. If you haven't subscribed to that, click on the links and join our email newsletter, and we'll keep you posted on all things DC, Virginia, and Maryland.
Yes, sir.
He said it's over. He said
Yeah,
he
he
wants
is.
more. He wants. You gotta wait till next week, buddy.
All
All
right.
right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll bring you
All
more next
right.
week.
All right.
Okay.
See you, Tim.